Hey guys, this is Poet Spice and I am here to do a color along, a little speed color from Karla Magana's new book, Tropigoth. I am doing a buddy color with Deb over on Instagram and Pixie over on Instagram. She's also here on YouTube. And Deb said, "Hey, are you guys getting this book?" And I was like, well, now I have to go get it. So we picked like 2 pictures and then a 3rd picture out of Hot Tropics. So, here we go. So I had to do it. So here I decided to make my girl a little darker brown. Sometimes I go with like a medium brown with lots of red in it. I don't know. And I just decided I wanted to go darker. So we're using some Spectrum Noir markers. These are the Tri-Blend markers. And I am using... I'm trying to remember what I used. I think it's the EBs. And so I'm actually going on light to medium dark. So anything you can use. If you get your markers and you get a light tone, a medium tone, and then a darker tone, it doesn't matter if it's blue, gray, green, you can create a gradient. You can also mix your tones. You don't have to go in order. And so I am going over all of her skin with the original lightest of these colors in this tri-blend. Now, I did a review on these tri-blends before on my craft channel. They are not my favorite Spectrum Noir because if you could see now, the pen, it has 3 parts. So you have a light, a medium, and a dark shade within the pen. But it's so much smaller than an actual marker, so you have less ink. So they're not exactly my favorite. I think they're really good if you want to travel and you want to have a compact space because you get 3 pens in one. But if you're like me and you color a lot, you go through a tri-blend quick, fast, and in a hurry. So here I'm doing the next color, and so you can see it's a little bit darker. And then I'll do the same thing with the 3rd one. So did anybody else get this Tropigoth, because there is no C in it. I love Karla Magana pages. They're so like easy to do, and they're so fun. You can do all kinds of stuff with them, and it's okay. I also like her books because they are single-sided. Now, they're usually $9.90 something or something like that. So, I wish they were a little less expensive. Even though, excuse me, that's not totally expensive, but... Oh, and she went with, unlike her other books, this one is actually 8.5 by 11. So it's bigger than her other books. It still has the same number of images, which I think is, 24 or 25? I can't remember. So she didn't increase that, but she did increase the size. All right, now I'm doing the same thing. I'm using this tri-blend marker, and I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but you could tell where it's kind of splotchy. For this lighter one, because I use that one a lot. And so that's like I was saying, if you look at, when my hand comes back into view, if you look at my hand and you see where the first line is, you see where I'm coloring, and then you see that first little line of teal or whatever color you want to say, and you see how small that barrel is. Then you see the line, and then the second line, and you see how small that section is, and then that to the end of the marker. So there's 3 markers in here, but like I said, they're so small that you will go through the ink relatively quickly. And they do have refills, so these are the, let me say this. These are the same colors as the rest of the line. Okay, so they have all the same color markers across all of the marker lines. However, it's just a matter of whether the brush tip or the size. So you can refill it, but like I said, yeah. And here's another tip about Spectrum Noir markers, which is different from Copics. So if you have Copic markers, this is another little tip, or if you're considering which marker to get. So Copics you can refill, Spectrum Noirs you can refill. But here's another thing about price difference. Copic markers are extremely expensive in comparison to Hoo-Hoo's and Spectrum Noir markers. Okay? However, the refills for Copic markers seem to be less expensive and last longer, which means they're even less expensive. On the other hand, Spectrum Noir, their refills tend to be more expensive. So I've often found it's cheaper to just buy a new, especially if you can get them on a deal like on HSN or something. I found that it's often cheaper to go ahead and just buy a new marker than buy Spectrum Noir refills. Just a little something there. Okay, so now I'm doing the second layer. And so you can see now my pen has gotten smaller. Because we're using the medium color. So what's good with everybody else, y'all? What you doing? How you been? Are you enjoying summer? I'm enjoying summer. Yeah. The day I'm coloring this and filming this, I did 3 videos. Well, I finished one from the night before, and then I did 2 full ones. Is anybody going on a tropical vacation this year? I went to go see my brother, but that's not tropical. That's just over in Texas. So, hot. Not tropic. All right, so now I'm adding the third color, which is darker. And basically what you end up doing is you take and you end up flipping the pen around to get the third color. Because now you'll see that the marker's full again, like it's a full size. Actually, tri-blends are taller. I don't know, I was just feeling a combination, you know. Turquoise, aqua with dark brown. My allergies are just ridiculous. So you'll have to excuse my nose draining. Alright, now we're back to do her eye makeup to match her hair. I don't know, I tend to do that in Karla Magana books. The eye makeup matches either their hair or it matches their clothes. So now I'm just going to go ahead and work on this flower in her hair. I decided, yes, we're going to go bright. So I'm using this orange. And this is the lightest of the oranges. And usually I would color the whole thing, but I couldn't decide what I wanted the insides to be. I didn't know if I wanted it to be all orange or what. So we're just going to outline this bit, and then we'll end up changing. And this is another one of those tri-blend markers. Now, don't get me wrong. The quality is the same. Like I said, the only difference is that since the barrel for each one is so small, you run out of ink faster. And I've said this in previous videos, but I'll say it again as a reminder. Don't feel like you can't move your page. So move your page so that it is comfortable to color. Because it's supposed to be fun. So you might as well make it easy on yourself. Easy on you. You. Okay, I don't know what that was about, but you know, here you go. Random pieces of music in your videos. Okay, so here's where I was talking about too. You could go through, and when you do your markers, you don't have to stay just within the 3-color family. So for example, I was using the 3 tri-blends for the edges and so forth, and now I'm using a yellow marker to go over all the orange and also to add in color. So it's a B01. And then I always have to bring the color down, so I can't have just like green at the top and no green at the bottom. So it's the same here. I will have to have orange to come through the picture. So I made her little rouge spot orange to match. Now I'm using another tri-blend. Am I using a tri-blend? I can't tell. I might not be. I use so many markers at the one time. It just is whatever it is. I mixed them up. Now this time I ended up using, I think, almost all Spectrum Noirs, if not all Spectrum Noirs. Yeah, this is just a regular marker. I've got the cap on the end. A regular Spectrum Noir, a classique. Which, like I said, all the ink colors are the same across the styles. It's just a matter of whether it's a brush nib, a chisel nib, or a bullet. And so you can see this is an AG1, and then I'll use the AG2 and 3, I think. So I will say that too, like if you are not good at mixing your colors, Spectrum Noir is probably a very good brand for you because they already put the markers and everything in color family. So it'll be like an AG1, 2, 3, 4, how many ever they have in that line. And they'll get progressively darker. And then you have like your BT 1, 2, 3, however. So like all your BTs are going to match. All your AGs are going to match. So that helps you out if you don't know how to mix colors or not quite sure. I personally say, just wing it. Just try it. And how I do that is I will go, like you might see me flip the page up a little bit, and I usually have some kind of scrap paper on the side, or I'll use the coloring blotter sheet beneath to try the colors out, just to make sure that's what I want. Woo-woo. So there we go again. I don't know. I think marker coloring is so easy. I love it. I mean, we all have our preferences as to what we like most, but I love coloring markers. And like I said, it probably comes from the fact that when you are making cards and using stamped images, most people use markers. I mean, some people use color pencils and stuff too, but most of the time it's markers. And so I learned from that. And then it carries over to these much larger pages. Much larger pages. Okay, so then this is like I was saying, I'm bringing some of those other colors down to the bottom. So instead of doing your traditional white or cream or beige skulls, we're going to do them in our 3 color blends that we did the other pieces. I thought it was awesome to make this comment as far as like quote unquote tutorialness or whatever kind of information. Typically when you're working with alcohol markers, you don't want to let the layers dry. Otherwise they don't blend as well. But you have to balance that with your paper and so forth. So in this respect, alcohol markers are a lot like watercolors in the sense that they make your paper wet. Okay. And regardless of what paper you have, they're going to seep through. Right? Unless it's like uber thick paper. But that's what helps them blend. Okay. That's why they're blending. Okay. So they're making your paper wet. So you'll notice that I will skip between various pages or places on the page because you can only put so much alcohol marker down before your paper gets like too wet. And so you don't want to keep going over that place. Otherwise your paper will start to degrade. So it's just like watercolor in that sense. So you don't want to keep putting water and water and water and water in the same spot. Otherwise your paper will peel. And it's the same thing with alcohol markers. You gotta let them dry just a little bit, just so that your paper isn't totally soaked. Now, once again, like watercolor paper or watercolors, depending on how thick your paper is or how much water it can hold, then you have more opportunity to add layers and layers before it gets kind of soaky. Anyway, so like I said before, we want to bring down that orange color. So I'm making some of the skulls orange. We wanted to bring down the green, so we made some of them green. But then, of course, their teeth look crazy, so we got to fix those as well. We got to do that otherwise. Okay, so we have one more of these skulls left. And since I have the orange and the green at the top, I don't want to make it orange, otherwise it'll blend in with the flower. And I don't want to make it green, otherwise it'll blend in with the background. So instead, I decided to go with yellow because we have yellow up in the flower. It's like a yellow orange. And obviously there's yellow and green, so we can put this color in here. Now, although there's no other yellow, it still works. It works as a pop of color. In a pop of color. So you can see right there where I checked it on the side to make sure that's the color I wanted. So see, we add the yellows and then we use some of the darker yellows that have like a little bit more orange or brown in it. So then it pulls it in and isn't just like, whoa, staring in your face like something crazy. So now we're just going to do some finishing touches. I'm using now here I am, and this is a brown, but it's a brown with a red undertone. And so when you add it to orange, it just deepens the color. I finished her eyes up. And then I'm going to use a Spectrum Noir metallic marker. Oh, not yet. I wanted to define her nose. That's what we needed to do because it kind of just washed it out. And I probably should have used a lighter marker for the very tip. But it is what it is. I will say this. When you're using alcohol markers, once you put that dark color down, it's very hard to pick it up. You can use a blender, which is just straight alcohol to kind of lighten it up. But once the dark is down, it's pretty much down. And I'm just using a gray to go over like some of the areas in the teeth, so they're not so white. Go over the little crosses on the skeleton's eyes. And here I'm using that yellowish orange color again. But anyway, you know, so we're almost done. We'll keep going, and then we have to put in the background. But yeah, so let me know if there's any other books you would like to see me color in. Let me know if there is like, if you want me to do a particular item. So like, how do I do snow, or how do I do like a fur kind of thing going on with alcohol markers. I know a lot of people don't like using them, or they prefer pencils. I love my markers. Yay, yay, yay. I love them, love them, love them. Okay, so we're going to do the last few things. Now we're doing the Spectrum Noir metallic markers. Doing her earrings, although they're not really earrings, I guess. They're hair rings. Then I decided to go and put it on the little dots. And then she actually has dots on her face. So sometimes I'll go and put gems on them. And then this time I just went ahead and used a metallic marker in like a greenish blue, so that it matches her makeup. Then I add some lines to the leaves. And you could see the difference, but you can't really necessarily see the sparkle as much because it's not a glitter pen, it's a metallic. What I do like about these is before they dry, they are also watercolors. All right, now we got to do the background, and we're going to use the stencil and some distress ink. And one of those little fluffy makeup brushes thingies. Cause it's so fun. I don't know. Since doing the whole coloring book thing, I have gotten into using my stencils. Because I've had stencils forever, but I hardly ever use them. Until we did this coloring book thing. Now I'm like, ooh, yeah, I need this stencil over here. I'm going to put this stencil over here. And I think I'm using Scattered Straw is what this one is. From Tim Holtz Distress Ink. And there is a difference between the Distress Ink and the Distress Oxide. I'm not sure which one I like better, but it is what it is. So while we finish up this background, we're just going to do this. So yeah, let me know in the comments below, like, how are you enjoying your summer? Are you going on any fabulous vacation? Are you going on a staycation? What would be your, lovely dream vacation? Anything like that. And then also anything that you would want to see me color. Whether it's a book, a particular picture, a typical kind of thing. Now, so I can know what kind of video you would like to see, so forth. I could also do like pencil over marker, that kind of thing. Or I can do Derwent ink tints, pictures, whatever. Just let me know in the comments below. Also, I would love it if you could subscribe, if you could click the like button, and if you could share. I would love to have more people on my channel and be able to see some more people, and that would help a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and let this finish out. I'm just going to put this on and then some leaves, and then you'll be able to see the finished picture. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a fabulous day. So, hi guys, and thanks for watching. I hope you guys are doing okay out there, and be safe, be blessed, and enjoy yourself, and don't put up with crap. Bye.